Good afternoon, staff. I wanted to take an opportunity, a brief opportunity, just to speak with you guys about my process for evaluating and what it is that I'm looking for whenever I do come into your classrooms, especially as we are gearing up to go through your PDPs and begin the observation process. Just kind of giving you some insight on what my process is for that. The first thing that everyone should know is that the number, each one of you have a certain type of evaluation. It's either a comprehensive, a standard, or an abbreviated evaluation. And so that all is dependent upon the number of years that you've been in Wake County and in education. And so you want to make sure that you're on the right evaluation calendar as you are looking through that. I believe everyone is, but you want to make sure you double check that. Also, even though a comprehensive evaluation is three evaluations from administration and then one from a peer, standard is, two snapshots, and a formal abbreviated is two snapshots. You only get one evaluation in a school year, and that is your summative at the end of the year. The other evaluations it's just formative data that administration collects to determine the type of instructor that you are. There's only one observation that you get per year. Sometimes people say, well, I get 4, or I get 2, or I get 3. You get one observation that is completed and sent to DPI per year. And that is your summary evaluation, which captures what it is you have done consistently, which is a key word, consistently, throughout the entire year. For me, when you are doing those, the formative evaluations, you do not need to bring artifacts, to the post-conference of that observation post-conference. All of your artifacts will be shown during your summary conference. Whenever we are meeting for your post-conference, we will always have instructional conversations. I will always type in the bottom of the evaluation questions about instruction that I may have. And I do that in advance so that whenever we do have our post-conference that what questions I may have, what follow-up things to either bring or be prepared to answer whenever we do meet. But I always type questions into the evaluation. Now, there are 17 observable elements in a teacher's observation. There is never 17 of those elements are not seen in one class lesson. And so you will have boxes that will be blank. There is no way that all 17 elements are seen in one lesson. And so you need to be mindful that during that observation, we are observing and marking things that can be seen within the classroom. There are other elements within the tool that are not observable. Not observable in a classroom lesson. Others are through, maybe PLTs or some professional development opportunities that you've been a part of. But you will only have marks in elements that are observable within the classroom, and those observable elements that took place in that particular lesson. Again, there's 17. You won't see them all. And throughout the year, the hope is through observations, through class visits, as we pop in and out of your classrooms and observe, we will see holistically the type of things that you do with regard to instruction in your classroom, and which gives us a clearer picture to create a foundation for the summative evaluation. Again, the summative observation is what you have consistently done throughout the year, not something that you've done once, something that you did, back in November, and it is now, April and June. It's what things you have consistently done throughout the year to promote student academic growth. Okay. When you look at these the ratings in this evaluation tool. This is a regular teacher evaluation tool. You want to make sure that you pay close attention to the verbiage, right? At each level that you move, the verbiage changes a little bit, right? Understands, the developmental levels. This is about and the need to differentiate, appropriately differentiates, consistently and appropriately differentiates. Like, you've got to really pay attention to the verbiage to determine where a teacher falls. Okay, the way I like to look at these ratings is that of a cheeseburger, right? So when you talk about, what is not demonstrated, obviously, if I'm trying to build the perfect hamburger and I'm giving a hot dog, then it's nowhere near what I'm looking for, right? It's not demonstrated. All right. A developing rating is one. It's a hamburger, but it's kind of plain. The teacher knows it, right? The teacher knows. What is needed, but doesn't necessarily perform it in the manner in which, promotes student academic growth. Now, a proficient rating is a hamburger where it's just where you want to be, right? A proficient rating means, does the teacher show it, right? Can I see the instructional practices, the instructional strategies that the teacher is using, and it is aligned to that standard and necessary for what students need? A proficient teacher comes into work and does what is expected of them every single day. I will tell you that the district expects all teachers to be proficient. They come in, they do what's best for kids, they provide appropriate instruction, tasks that are aligned, rigor, 4Cs. All of that is included into a proficient teacher's evaluation. Once you start moving into the accomplished rating, then it builds on the burger a little bit more, right? It means, can I see it in the students, right? The practices, the strategies that I have taught throughout the school year, I can now see the students implementing these practices, implementing these strategies. I can visibly see them do it, and their process for solving their problems, or their process for determining, main idea, text, theme, all those things. I can see the teacher facilitating and the students carrying out that process that the teacher has established in her classroom. And then once you move to a distinguished rating, it is about, how does this extend beyond my classroom? A distinguished rating is all about how you are how are you supporting your colleagues' professional growth? How are you providing how are you promoting that natural curiosity of your students beyond your classroom? All right. How does it extend beyond your classroom is where a distinguished rating would lie. Again, when you talk about your observations, it is holistically a holistic view, not only of the 2, 3, or 4 observations that we come in and see, but our class visits, play a huge role in that. It is unfair for me to come in and see your classroom 3 or 4 times in 180 days, and then try to provide a fair summative evaluation for you. And so I attempt to visit classrooms as frequently as possible to ensure that I have a clear view or an understanding of the type of teacher that I'm rating. Also, at the end of the year, when it's time to submit that summative or meet for the summative, I complete the summative and I send it to you. Now, that summary evaluation is not the end all be all. That is the foundation. That is where we have conversations. When we set up the meeting, we have conversations about your ratings. And so it gives you an idea of what artifacts you need to bring in, what conversations we need to have to discuss, my rationale behind the rating. Okay. So it's not necessarily an end all be all when I send that to you. It starts the conversation about the things that you have done throughout the school year. And from that meeting, we will complete the summary evaluation, complete your PDP. And that is, again, the evaluation that goes to DPI. I hope that this brief explanation provided you with some insight on what I'll be looking for when I visit your classroom. I'm excited about it and can't wait to see the good instruction that is going to take place.